You'll be seeing Lifetime News. It's Thursday, the 30th actually, of March 2023. My name is Mchael Lukomwa. Welcome aboard. This is what we have for you this afternoon. Stakeholders in early childhood care and education have recommended that government should adopt a public and private partnership in financing the program to accelerate access, quality, and inclusive early childhood care education. During the second National Early Childhood Care and Education Symposium, they highlighted inadequate funding and the limited roles and participation by government in the implementation of early childhood care and education. We have details to this.
Government through Ministry of Education and Sports, UNICEF, Plan Uganda, World Bank is to work with National Curriculum Development Center in the ongoing process of reviewing the early childhood care and education curriculum. Experts in ECCE say system players concentrate more on cognitive skills like literacy than imparting social skills. Stakeholders have resolved to start enforcing early learning and development standards to strengthen the capacity of local government to monitor and inspect the operationalization of ECCE centers.
Is equitable and inclusive access to ECCE. Government should adopt the public-private partnership in financing early childhood care and education. This has been reiterated through our symposium. The review of the Education Act, which we know is long-term, but we are blessed to have the Education Policy Review Commission in the room. We would like to have the review of the Education Act to allow government to provide for ECCE. It continues to be a barrier and a huge hindrance, not just to access, but to this kind of dialogue. Approve the early childhood care and education policy to provide a framework for delivery, provision, and standardization, provide documented evidence on the benefits of ECCE.
They have also expressed the need for government to consider including teachers of pre-primary on its payroll. The Directorate of Education Standards, Franchise Atima, said the teacher policy being implemented will help address the quality of teachers at that level.
And trained caregivers in pre-primary teachers and many others operating below the required standards. And we know that this really affects the quality of education at that level. And the envisaged Teachers' Bill that will culminate in the Teachers' Council to regulate the profession will go a long way in addressing some of the challenges that we have identified.
Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development is to come up with standards and curriculum for parents and is also working on issues of mindset change.
Working on issues to do with mindset change, we realize that there are a number of things that parents do and families do based on the mindset, and so issues as mandated under PDM, we shall do everything possible to ensure that we change.
The second National Early Childhood Care and Education Symposium was organized on the theme Mobilizing Collective Effort to Accelerate Access to Quality and Inclusive Early Childhood and Education. I'm Navka Farida and Abdinasil Luwama in Munyonyo.
The Uganda Traffic Police launched an operation to streamline the border transport sector in November last year. The operation targeted motorcycle riders without crash helmets, reflector jackets, driving permits, carrying more than one passenger, and those without driving mirrors. But how effective has this strategy been in achieving its objective? Mark Arnold Wadulo has the details.
It is important to start on the note that both riders and drivers apply for the same legal document to qualify as motorists. This document is called a driving license, so there is no specific term for riders. As Uganda Traffic Police operations data shows increased enforcement, it is still too early to assess the impact of this strategy on driver license application for riders.
From 6th to 11th March 2023, 1,259 motorcycles were impounded, and out of these, 1,104 were issued with EPS tickets. Then from 13th to 18th March 2023, we managed to impound 1,069 motorcycles, where 873 were issued with EPS tickets.
Available data shows that as of January and February 2023, 80,778 personalized applications and 24,476 personalized learner licenses have been registered so far. The highest number of the learner licenses produced as of 28 February 2023 are in Kampala, Gulu, and Mbarara, while the highest number of driving licenses produced as of 28 February 2023 reflect in Kampala, Mbarara, and Jinja.
We can't fight accidents when we can't do things right. So at UDLS, the list is sent from IOV of those who have attained their CCs. It's no longer taken manually, it is sent direct. So everyone should take note. For a learner to be tested at IOV, he or she must come in company with the instructor of the driving school where he or she has learned driving from. And also, it's only those that have passed that are expected at UDLS. So to avoid inconveniences, if you know you failed that exam, don't waste time going to UDLS.
In 2021 and 2022, 197,811 and 306,692 documents were issued countrywide. 77,944, along with 113,089 learner licenses, were issued respectively. The data in the Uganda driving licensing system includes all riders and drivers combined, for it has not been further categorized by class. Therefore, it is too difficult to draw conclusions about specific groups of drivers or riders. Wadulo Mchael, UBC News in Kampala.
The Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Operations, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has ordered for the withdrawal of all Karamojong UPDF soldiers who are currently deployed in Acholi sub-region to combat cattle rustling. This follows community complaints that they too have become facilitators of insecurity. General Muhoozi has been on a mobilization tour of Agago district.
Thank you. Welcome. Yes.
On his last day of the Acholi sub-region tour, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba has on Wednesday, 29th March 2023, camped in Agago district.
You are like us, we shall be like you. You are welcome to Omia Paso.
And more people like Kitty. Anyway, woman and family keep going.
Insecurity in northern Uganda caused by the Karamojong warriors has been a concern in the past and present.
Evening, people are leaving their homes to sleep in camps.
Even the Karamojong problem was much bigger than it is now. You remember Karamojong used to raid all the way from Moroto up to almost Gulu, but now they no longer have that capacity. They have been reduced.
The cry has been on.
But if you see the kind of atrocities being committed by Karamojong, because these people, they don't have front like the former NRA, like ADF. They don't have front where the UPDF can go and fight them and defeat them. That's why we are highly recommending that let our reserve forces who are here, they were already recruited, 5 per parish, and what was left only was training them and harming them so that they help in fighting this vice.
Solutions have not been satisfactory.
Just try us. Give us only 2 months. Even though you remove all the UPDF, get the and then get from among us these people. Give them firearms. For only 2 months, you will not see this Karamojong disturbing.
Our children are leaving schools because of intimidation from Karamojong, and we are still being blindfolded. And we are doing well. I think this must stop.
Exaggeration of numbers is also complicate the recovery of cows. To be sincere and to tell you the truth, when they steal 7 cows, you declare 40 cows. Yesterday, the cows they told us that they raided, according to the footmarks, it shows that there are 7 cows, but they told us 39 cows.
This was a public security gathering in Akago district convened by the senior presidential advisor on special operations, General Mchael Rugaba.
We know your father sent you. You are now our Jesus Christ.
The time you have been given the highest rank of being a general in the army, this is your first time to reach a Chole land, and you are coming for a noble cause to chase away the Karamojong.
So I will take this paper back to the president and ask him to send the Ministry of Works people to start working on these roads.
According to leaders, the security anomalies have also muted government efforts of eradicating poverty in the sub-region. Improving on the security personnel is among those interventions government is taking.
Up to now, we have only had one brigade active in this district, Ketugum, Agago, and Lamo. So they were requesting for more manpower so that we can deploy them, like the LC1 chairman was saying, we deploy them here. With more manpower, you will see a difference.
The redeployment of the Air Force into the region has also been considered.
We had our Air Force in Moroto, which helped us in operations, in hitting the enemy, but also in identifying him. But I hear those helicopters were taken back, so we are going to bring them back.
However, on behalf of government, General Mchael Rugaba pledged to offer a compensation of 274 cattle to those affected.
I would like to propose, what if the government compensated them, those 274 cows? So please accept the 20 that you have refused so far. You receive those 30, the 274. Which you shall share equally in the 3 districts.
This finally gives an end to the 3 days visit of General Mchael Rugaba to Mchael sub-region, with the promise of returning to the sub-region to ensure that all is ironed out.
The commander just informed me that within 3 days there will be no more Karamojong soldiers. And I don't know, I think it was a mistake. Whoever brought them here made a mistake. We shall deploy them somewhere else. They will not come back to us.
For once and all, Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Pugia Marion, an Indian spiritual leader, has urged the Indian community in Uganda to remain founded to their norms and cultures so that they pass it to the next generation. Pugia, who is on a 3-day visit in Uganda, appreciated government's cordial relations with the Indians who stay in Uganda.
This is our great heritage, our great richness that we must share. You cannot understand how to develop your intellect in such a way that you can transcend your mind and intellect to discover that which lies beyond any limitations.
Peace is not just no conflict. Peace is what we all want, because in peace we are happy. And peace is our nature. Yeah? It's the very nature of the soul. And when there is love, when there is togetherness, when there is one family spirit, there may be differences. But what is important is that love only ends all conflicts, all differences, and there is peace. But the moment we start yours, mine, my country, your this, my religion, your religion, my God, his God, her God, we are only going to create conflicts. Recognize that we are one. One big family, at least that much. Yeah, all religions say we are children of God, right? So we are one big family, aren't we? Yeah? But we made even gods many. Yeah? So, one peace, one happiness we all want. If only we think about, if I want happiness, others also want happiness. If I give happiness to others, others can also give me happiness. So be happy and spread happiness. Same time, knowledge is gained when we have got values. And those values, when we develop within us, becomes our virtues. And when the mind is calm, like which I'll be explaining from tomorrow onward, when the mind is calm, intelligence manifests. And it's in intelligence that you get knowledge. Otherwise, it is mere information.
Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries has launched a $700,000 two-year pilot project on the use of voluntary third-party assurance program in East Africa with aquaculture for Uganda and horticulture for Rwanda. Acting Director for Fisheries Resources, Tom Mukasabukenya, says that the project will significantly improve food safety measures and market access for Uganda's fish products through third-party certification schemes, which are increasingly demanded on the international market.
We are here to launch a pilot project which is intended to improve food safety, but in particular our case is improving the safety of the fish for our local consumption and also for export. So under this, we have in 2018 we wrote a project proposal to SDF, and it went through a rigorous exercise, and we were victorious together with Rwanda. They were successful in horticulture, but Uganda were successful in fish. And the issue here is that this project is going to use what they call a voluntary certification system, whereby factories, whereby fish traders and other stakeholders are going to use that voluntary system to inspect, to find out that the fish that is put on market is free for any contamination, and that is what we call phytosanitary assurance.
So we are trying to introduce practices that will improve what the producer does. If you go into the fish industry, it is your responsibility to provide safe fish to the consumer. Now we want to introduce practices that will improve what people do at production, during the processing, so that by the time the regulator comes to check, before the consumer gets it, that food is safe. Okay? We are being driven into this very much because of the export promotion that we are doing in Uganda. We want to become an export-oriented country so that we reduce on the imports and increase on the exports.
Lessons that will be picked from this small grant will have a multiplier effect in other subsectors, because food is not only fish. There are other food products we handle, and they too deserve to go through the same quality and safety standards. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for braving the rain to come for this launch, and I pray that the message that goes out from here will reach our stakeholders, and they too will get to be on board, so that together we shall ensure the safety of the consumers of our products. Thank you.
Over 40 billion shillings is required to clear areas of coffee seedlings that government acquired from the nursery bed operators on credit. Although Parliament approved a budget for Ministry of Finance to clear these areas through the Coffee Development Authority, the UCDA says they have never received any money from the Ministry of Finance for this cause.
You give a nursery operator an order certificate to go and supply coffee from 2015, 2018, 2021, and you don't put that money in the budget.
In 2022, Parliament appropriated funds to Ministry of Finance for clearance of accumulated areas for coffee nursery bed operators. This followed several petitions to Parliament by nursery bed operators and coffee farmers over accumulated areas in supply of seedlings on credit. However, although the money was appropriated to clear some areas this financial year, no money has since been received by the nursery bed operators in that regard.
We request the President to intervene in this matter, prevail over the Ministry of Finance to ensure money is released to UCDA to pay these nursery operators who are suffering.
Accordingly, even the overgrown seedlings that government okayed them to distribute in 2022 in a phase-off of their contracts has since not been paid. According to Matthias Tumwebaze, many of their nursery bed operators have lost their property to banks, others jailed, while others died due to pressure over accumulated loans.
Their properties that were mortgaged to the banks have been taken. Some nursery operators have become homeless. Others have died because of financial problems.
Uganda Coffee Development Authority confirms the areas of all verified claims from nursery bed operators, although there were some cases of double admission. Kamgisha Apollo Tugume, the Director of Development Services at Uganda Coffee Development Authority, clarified that in the agreement between the nursery bed operators and government last year was supposed to have all arrears cleared in a phased manner, but within a period of 3 years.
The coffee planting material that was available during October-November planting, that let it be distributed and government will pay. It is on record and in writing.
Kamgisha says the payment of arrears has been delayed due to the financial constraints that government is currently facing, but nonetheless the authority had already put all banks and microfinance unions on notice over these delays.
I've written to the banks. We can still write to the banks.
It should be noted that in 2022, government decided to support farmers to start acquiring their own seedlings from nursery bed operators through the parish development model.
And then the distribution of inputs to the farmers to now acquiring inputs on their own with the support of loans obtained from parish-based circles.
This saw the end of the 9 years of seedlings supply contract of over 1,500 nursery bed operators across the country that had been benefiting from supply of seedlings to farmers through Uganda Coffee Development Authority. Susan Naonga reporting for ABC TV.
Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has indicated a steady improvement in performance of the tourism sector in the year 2022, which was enabled by an exponential rise in the number of tourists. This was highlighted during the dissemination of tourism performance statistics of 2022.
The ease in the restrictions, along with aggressive marketing and development interventions in the sector, has led to an exponential increase in tourist arrivals from January to December 2022, which explains a steady improvement in terms of performance of the tourism sector, as highlighted in the findings by the ministry.
We are now happy to announce that the statistics for 2022 showed that Uganda attracted 816,000 international visitors, demonstrating an increment of about 58%. So that is very encouraging. In terms of foreign exchange earning, the country earned 2.7 trillion Uganda shillings, which is a huge figure, although this is only about 50% of what was earned in 2019. In terms of employment, tourism is accounting for 14% of the total job in the market. Actually, up to about 1.5 million people are employed in the tourism sector. The good news is that tourism is the #1 sector where there is self-employment.
According to Tom Butime, the Minister for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, the over 800 international visitor arrivals, which is an increase of 59% in visitor exports from 2021, is still a decline when compared to 2019 levels. He asserts that more strategies should be put in place to fascinate tourists for a longer stay.
There is still a long way to go. We need more efforts in marketing and promotion, product development, infrastructure, and skills development. We believe that with the right strategies, we will see tourism flourish once again.
Doreen Katsime, the ministry's permanent secretary, says for tourism to remain a flagship contribution to GDP, the private sector should carry on working with government to boost the sector.
Us as government, our valued development partners, but especially the private sector. There is a great need for us to work together on the key objectives of the tourism development program, including tourism promotion and marketing, infrastructure development, product development and conservation.
The Uganda Hotel Owners Association Executive Director Jean Byamajisha explained to UBC the exponential increase in the tourists as evidenced by the accommodation margins.
The report is mainly accurate. It does show a growth in the industry, which is actually true. There has been a growth, there continues to be a growth, but the report doesn't take into account the other factors that push us backwards. Right now we are looking at the homosexuality bill. We are already getting cancellations. We have already gotten even communication from some embassies. We are supposed to be taking a delegation of hoteliers to Chicago. Now our delegation is in doubt because, there is some restrictions which are being put into place.
Some of the key initiatives that supported tourism performance to generate 2.7 billion shillings from Vista exports are international destination campaigns like Uniquely Yours, Uniquely Ours, the digital campaigns and promotions, the full operation of the Uganda Airlines in 2022, and domestic tourism events. Joshua Kagoro, Juma Nsamba, UBC News.
With Joshua Kagoro's story, we'll take a very short break. On return, we have more. Please keep it with us.
With freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21 hash or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
TB kills approximately 30 people daily, and 247 Ugandans fall ill of TB disease every day. TB has killed dreams and families. We all deserve a chance in life to hustle, smile. We all deserve a chance to dream and be the best version of ourselves. It is preventable and curable. Know your status. TB testing, treatment, and all TB-related services are free in all government hospitals and accredited private health centers.
The Chilux bundles from Airtel have been upgraded. Introducing Voice Chilux bundles. No validity, no expiry, no worries. Dial *100 *1 hash, select voice bundles and choose your preferred Voice Chilux bundle today. Talk longer with loved ones across Uganda with Voice Chilux bundles that don't expire. Airtel, the smartphone network.
10 years of supporting health in Uganda. This year, the Kabaka Birthday Run will mark its 10-year anniversary on Sunday, 16th April at Lubidi, starting 7 a.m. and continue the fight to end AIDS by 2030. Buy your running kit today at 20,000 shillings from Airtel shops, Benchuanuka, Fubani, New Taxi Pack, or Majestic Brands office in Bulangi Mango. You can also pay using Airtel Money. Dial *185 *5 hash. Kits purchased using Airtel Money shall be picked from Airtel Wampe or Shop. Poll sponsored by
Welcome back from the break, and thank you so much for keeping it with us. In business, Uganda Registration Services Bureau has asked business owners and companies to register. The Director of Business Registration at Uganda Registration Services Bureau, Ndale Mustafa, says that registration comes with a number of benefits, including obtaining legal identity.
Uganda Registration Services Bureau is a government agency responsible for civil registrations, including businesses and other registrations required by law. The registration body is encouraging business owners to register, as this comes with benefits, including legal identity for the business or company.
But also subsequent to incorporation, again, we continue to support as Uganda Registration Services Bureau. For example, if you incorporate a company and you start trading, you need a trademark, for example. I hope you know what a trademark means. Basically, it's like the logo you use in your business. So as you will register your trademark, you know you'll come up with inventions in your trade. You'll come up with new ideas which you need to protect. Again, you do that with URSB as far as intellectual property services is concerned. I talked about insolvency services, for example. Should you run into financial difficulties, still as Uganda Registration Services Bureau, we support corporate entities and even natural persons with rescue mechanisms to avoid financial distress. So our role goes beyond even ushering. Actually, it starts with ushering you into the business or the formal business arena, but to also offer additional services throughout your business journey.
The agency has tapped into modern technological advances by digitalizing its services for convenient and easy access by the customers.
We have since embarked on a digitization journey, and we are determined to have all our processes fully automated. For example, currently, if you want to reserve a business name or a company name, you don't have to visit our office. Wherever you are, you just log into your computer and access our website and apply. Propose a business name you wish to trade with, and even the payments are done electronically. You don't have to carry cash to your RSP. The system prompts you to make payment even from your phone. You make that payment, the application comes. If it is approved, you get a notification that your application has been approved. Again, you log into the system, you fill in the details of your company, you push the application on our side, we process it. You don't even need to be.
The Stephen Kiprotich National High Altitude Training Center has been the latest stopover for the National Council of Sports technical team that is on a district sports outreach program. John Ban Sentamu is alongside them and now reports.
Though not at 100%, one can officially say that the long wait to deliver the first phase of the Stephen Kiprotich National High Altitude Training Center in Teriet, Kapchora is over. To Kiprotich, the man in whose honor for exploits at the London Olympics, President Yoweri Museveni made this pledge in 2012. Ecstasy is all he has.
Today, it is like a dream come true, and I wish this facility or this region should be called Sports City, because we are doing sports without facilities. Now when the facilities come, then definitely qualifies as a sports city.
Teriet, as this high altitude training center is fondly known, will be delivered in several phases, starting with this first. The first key parameters are the 3-kilometer jogging track, the hostel, the artificial turf field, and the 6-lane athletics track. The center is one of those that National Council of Sports has visited during its district sports outreach of Northern, Northeast, and East Uganda. The outreach aims at, among others, educating about a revitalization of district sports councils that will help facilitate talent identification and development.
The region is giving us their best, and we think that the choice of government to put the National High Altitude Training Center here is spot on. We want to come here to discuss matters that will take us to the next step. We are talking about district prioritizing sports by also giving additional budget to support what central government give. But two, we are looking at how can we collaborate to ensure that we acquire enough land for sports infrastructural development.
The second phase of Terieta will include other sports amenities and administrative offices, with completion of all phases expected to make it world-class. John Burns, Centam, UBC News.
John Burns, Centam, brings us to the end of all we had for you this afternoon. Thanking you so much for watching. My name is Mchael Jordan Lukomwa, wishing you the best of the afternoon. Let's catch you in our other bulletins. We'll have Luganda, Kiswahili, and I'll be here myself for news tonight with the whole team. For now, bye-bye.